morning, and welcome to our Sunday service live stream. This is Seattle Unity here in our SoDo venue, Metropolis. We love Metropolis, and there's an in-house audience as well. Can you hear them? I don't know if you can hear them, but I can hear them, and I can see them, and I can adore them, and you at home as well. I'm going to ask everyone to stand as you are able. This year our theme has been the alchemy of the soul, and today we're starting a new series in that called the Alchemy of Strength. So whatever makes you feel strong, the way that you stand right now can help make you feel strong. What you're looking at can help make you feel strong. And I encourage you in the room, especially, you have each other. You're allowed to turn and look at each other, which is that's something that makes me feel very strong. Oh my God, when I'm looking at the other people here, when I'm looking at David Loy on piano, and also today our special guest, Stephanie Ann Johnson, extremely strong. We're going to sing a song that goes like this. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, forever, try it. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, forever, forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, forever. Forever God is faithful, forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever. Now we sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Sing praise, sing praise. And if you like, you can do the hand thing. Sing praise. We keep going up. Sing praise. Forever God is faithful. Forever God is strong. Forever God is with us. Forever. Forever God is strong, forever God is with us, forever, forever. Let us pray.
And so let us call forth the activity of spirit with our opening statement. There is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
From this peaceful place, we're going to start with sing praise. And I encourage you, if you like to do hand motions, to move them, sing praise, sing praise. And you are blessing everything that you are lifting to. Sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise, sing praise. Sing praise. We'll keep going up. Sing praise. Sing praise. Forever God is faithful. Forever God is strong. Forever God is with us. Forever, forever, forever God is faithful. Forever God is strong. Forever
So good morning, and thank you for being here with us. We are happy to have a few folks here in the room, our ushers and greeters and prayer chaplains that are going to be that network of volunteers as we start to open up starting Mother's Day. So we will have open registration via the website. More information for that will be coming out. But let us first begin by affirming our mission statement together. Please join me. We are a welcoming spiritual community thriving in the heart of Seattle, celebrating, inspiring, and deepening our individual and collective spiritual journeys. So Mother's Day is coming up. Yes, I know, it's hard to believe. But that means Mother's Day photos, we want you to send those in. Please email those to Erin at seattleunity.org, or you can find her email on the website. And if you've sent in a picture before, please just email her if you want to just use that same one and just give her permission. And we'd like to have a really beautiful slideshow. That's often one of the favorite parts of our Mother's Day service. So please get those photos in by next Sunday. So May 2nd is the deadline. Want to call out a fundraiser that our outreach team is leading. Carl Wostwin and the outreach team got together, and they are leading a fundraiser for Compass Housing Alliance, which is one of our neighbors down in SLU. And Compass is coming up on their 100th year anniversary on May 16th. And so the outreach is leading a fundraiser to raise money for move-in packs for people moving into housing. And you can donate to the outreach fund by going to the website, go to the donation page and just click on the pull-down menu, and there's a little place there that says outreach, or text to give, and just add the word outreach to it, and there'll be more information coming out in the newsletter in about a week. And so now a few other announcements.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. You sing. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful day. You say. This beautiful day. Now everybody. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Again. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Beautiful day. This beautiful day. Day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. I thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful day. This beautiful day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. I thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Beautiful. This beautiful day. This beautiful day. Brilliant. We're coming to a more contemplative part of the service, and it will include a 3-minute meditation, so I encourage you to get comfortable. The video today of that meditation is an actual sunrise, and it's about 3 minutes, and it includes bird sound. It's mostly silence. Moving into that, we'll use this older chant, Listen, 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 which is from the works of Paramahansa Yogananda. I encourage you to sing along. If you like harmonies, you can harmonize. There are parts of it that are sort of like a round. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never leave you. I will not forsake you. I will never leave you. I will not forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never leave
forsake you. I will never leave you. I will not forsake you. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait in these precious moments where I hear all that can never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, I find God. Oh, I find God. I find
Thank you, Stephanie Ann. Always love having you here. So we have a very special guest speaker this morning with us, Greg Lavoy, and I just want to introduce a little bit about him. Some of you might remember he was actually a guest speaker at Seattle Unity a few years ago, maybe it's more than a few, and also spoke at Unity Worldwide Ministries annual conference. He is the author of 2 books, Callings, Finding and Following an Authentic Life, and Vital Signs, The Nature and Nurture of Passion, and I'm guessing that at least a few people have read 1 or 2 of his books. He has presented and appeared on PBS and NPR, CNN, ABC TV, as well as been a presenter at Microsoft, the Smithsonian Institute, the EPA, National Conference on Aging, and many other organizations. He is a former adjunct professor at University of New Mexico, and he is a former columnist and reporter, having written for the New York Times Magazine, Washington Post, Omni, Psychology Today, Christian Science Monitor, Reader's Digest, and many more publications. He is very accomplished, and again, we are very blessed to have Greg Lavoy here with us this morning. Greg, are you there?
I'm here.
Great.
Thank you, Diane, for that generous introduction. And thank you so much, Stephanie and David, if I have the names right, for the beautiful music. Thank you for that. And greetings, Seattle Unity folks from Santa Cruz, California. I am genuinely delighted to be able to share some thoughts with you here this morning, as well as in the midst of tumultuous times. Whether you count that as the last year, or the last 4 years, or the last 2,000, perhaps times have always been tumultuous. I mean, after all, it started with a big bang, so I suppose it's true. But times have also always been, I think, opportune. And speaking of, this past year has finally found me entering the brave new world of online teaching and presenting, which only took me 10 years and a plague to finally come around to doing. I love teaching, but I've always been a kind of a high touch, low tech kind of a teacher. So I've always opted out of all the opportunities I've had for the last decade to do webinars and such. And I've always opted for the in-person teaching, but that, of course, all abruptly changed as I think most of our lives have abruptly changed, certainly in the last year. I'm essentially in the business of public gatherings and lectures and workshops and retreats and conferences and such. And all of that has pretty much gone the way of the dodo bird in the last year and perhaps for the foreseeable. And if you yourself are, let's say, a teacher of any kind or a performer of any kind, or you work for a company whose doors have closed, you've also had to adapt, as I have, at least if we want to continue sharing our work with the world and perhaps making an income as well. And at the risk of being blunt, I think nature has a simple word for those who are unable or unwilling to adapt to change. And the word is extinct. And I think it goes as much for the individual as it does for the species. And the pandemic year, for instance, has definitely been calling on us to adapt, which really I think is just another way of saying to grow. All right. So some of you may be familiar with the name Abraham Maslow. Okay. Maslow is the psychologist who gave us what's called the hierarchy of needs pyramid. Okay. At the bottom, food, clothing, and shelter. A little bit above that, belonging to a tribe, etc. And at the top is what he called self-actualization. Okay. Although really, right before he died, he added a new pinnacle to that pyramid. He called it self-transcendence. Okay. But this is what he said about the prior pinnacle, which is self-actualization. He said that self-actualizing types, so these would be the kind of people who tend to fulfill their potential, also tend to be the kind of people who make the growth choice over the fear choice routinely. Okay? But Joseph Campbell, maybe you know that name, he gave us the hero's journey and the bumper sticker, Follow Your Bliss. He said that phase one of responding to a calling, which of course is the beginning of any hero's or heroine's journey, is running from it. Okay, it's fear and resistance and maybe anger at having your boat rocked. And certainly the pandemic has, well, certainly callings specialize in that. Okay, it's rocking the boat. Though it's also quite possible that the degree of resistance you might have, I include myself in that, to whatever this last year has been calling for from you, is probably proportionate to the amount of power that's waiting to be unleashed when and if the no turns into a yes. Okay? But the pandemic, for instance, has been offering us, I think it's fair to say, an AP class, a graduate level class in boat rocking, okay? As well, of course, as adaptation. And I think humans have actually proven themselves to be extremely good at adaptation. But now that a vaccine or vaccines have finally shown up for the coronavirus, they are based on the following wisdom, which is really the basis of the entire science of immunology. And that is that you introduce a little bit of chaos into the system to strengthen it. Okay? You shake it up for the sake of helping it grow and evolve. Okay? And I think that this pandemic year, this year of political, cultural turmoil, kind of offers us the same deal. All right? It has the potential to offer us the same thing. And I think it's interesting that when you look at the central creation story in the Western canon, which of course is Genesis, chaos with a capital C is described as the condition of the earth before it was formed. Now, what I take that to mean is chaos precedes creation. Chaos precedes creation. And if you deny yourself the one, you're probably going to deny yourself the other. All right. It reminds me actually of something that Red Fox, remember Red Fox once said from Sanford and Son? He said, heroes are not born, they're cornered, which I think is a brilliant insight about people's relationship to making change. But I think that one way to approach this year of ours that we've lived through, and not all of us, of course, have lived through it, but one of the purposes that it can serve is in exploring how your life might grow and evolve as a result of it. Okay, how the chaos in the coronavirus, for instance, what it might be calling for from you in terms of, creative life or professional life, interpersonal, spiritual life. All right. It's really kind of an opportunity, I think, to take an inventory, step outside and look back in through the shop window at your life. How have you responded to the events of this past year? The upheavals in one department and another. How have you responded? What have you discovered about yourself, or maybe rediscovered? Where have growth and creation been evoked for you? Or maybe as the case is provoked, okay? And I think it's useful to consider these questions in a personal context, not just a planetary context, all right? So not necessarily, what has the pandemic been calling for from us, from humanity, which is a good question, but what has it been calling for from you personally, all right? And to consider this not from a philosophical point of view, right? Not what is the grand purpose of this, or how is this a reset for humanity, but how is it possibly a reset for you individually, okay? And to pose questions to yourself along the lines of what wants to emerge for you or awaken at this juncture? What course corrections have been called for? All right. What's been given an unexpected entrance cue by the events of this year? What silver linings have been appearing? And of course, what do you want your new normal to look like once the pandemic is in the rearview mirror, which hopefully it will be sooner than later? So let me give you some examples of the kind of questions I've been asking of myself in this past year, and will, in fact, in the webinar on Wednesday. Here's one. Science tells us that an asteroid ushered out the dinosaurs, gave the mammals underfoot, including our forebears, a shot at prominence. All right, so to use that as an analogy, when the dinosaurs, if you will, of the status quo have been sidelined, which they have, I think, for most of us this year in one way or another, parts of us that are normally overshadowed are going to have an opportunity to come out into the light. All right, for instance, I have a friend who owns a retail store. He says that because he, by and large, has not had any customers coming through the store in the past year, though he's in it Monday through Friday doing the online part of his business, but because he doesn't have a lot of customers coming through anymore, he's discovered that this is actually a relief. After all these years of running the business, it's a relief. And that he's actually more of an introvert than he knew himself to be. And in fact, that his identity, his reputation as Mr. Social doesn't actually fit him anymore. And now he's taking some time to explore this more introverted side of himself. So one question you might ask yourself is, what, if any, parts of yourself have you discovered in the past year, or maybe rediscovered? All right. What has emerged out of the shadows for you in terms of your own knowledge of yourself in the past year? So that's one question you might ask. Here's another. Shakespeare wrote Macbeth King Lear and Antony and Cleopatra during a plague. All right. Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity and invented calculus while in quarantine for the bubonic plague. And at the risk of putting myself into the same sentence with Sir Isaac Newton and William Shakespeare, I have discovered for myself that the past year has been one of the best things to hit my writing in years. Partly because it's given me a tremendous focus for my work and a lot of very juicy and compelling topics to sink my teeth into. Okay, so despite the very real misfortune that a lot of people have experienced as a result of this past year, it may be possible that the disruption in your daily routines, if not the isolation, may actually be a boon to your creativity and resourcefulness and inventiveness and resilience in ways that wouldn't have happened otherwise. Okay? I'm not saying you're going to discover any fundamental laws of the universe or, write the next Macbeth, but you might just finish that novel that you've been daring and double daring yourself to write for ever. Okay, you might start a garden, you might take up the guitar, you might, finally get around to some of those home improvement projects that you've been sticking on the back burner in deference to just the daily grind. Okay, so what, if any, acts, however humble, of creativity and inventiveness and resourcefulness have you seen emerge out of yourself in the last year as a response to the events of this last year? So that's another question to consider. And here's one more. Some people think that the pandemic is just a biological event. It's just an organism wanting to reproduce, okay? There's no master plan for these people. There's no grand scheme of things. There's no nature sending us to our rooms to think about what we've done, which of course is one of the memes that's been making the rounds since this all hit the fan a year ago, all right? For these people, it's just predation. It's not punishment, okay? And then there are those for whom this is the dawning of the Age of Aquarius, okay? It's the beginning of the great turning. It's a phrase I've heard some people use, or the new consciousness, or the long hungered for reset for humanity. And to be sure, there's lots of opportunities, aren't there, in this past year for spiritual optimists, okay? Plenty of opportunities, lessons to be had in unity and interconnectedness and compassion and service and reaching across the proverbial aisle, to say nothing of non-attachment. Lots of lessons in non-attachment this year. So to whatever degree you resonate to the second line of thinking, that there's perhaps greater meaning and purpose in the unfolding of these events, maybe even a lesson. My question would be, what might that lesson be for you? Okay, again, not for humanity, as interesting a contemplation as that can be, but if these events have unfolded to offer you personally a lesson, what do you imagine that lesson might be? Okay, so an interviewer once reportedly asked Albert Einstein, of all the questions you've posed into the mysteries of the universe, Mr. Einstein, what do you think is the most important question to ask? And Albert Einstein reportedly said, is the universe a friendly place or not? And I think how you answer that question is going to impact, if not determine, how your life unfolds. I mean, how you're going to interpret and respond to the things that happen to you, including events like the pandemic or the political, cultural, racial turmoil of the last year or so. All right. It's really going to show you, in a sense, your default position to life, in a sense, optimistic or pessimistic. But you've heard people use the expression, trust the universe. Okay. I've been hearing that refrain in my head in the last year, especially as life has rather upturned my apple cart. And I often hear this phrase in my head during very challenging phases of my life. But I've been trying to drill down into it a bit more this time around. And I've been wondering, what exactly does that mean, to trust the universe? What does that mean? What aspects of the universe are you trusting when you say you trust the universe? And of course, is this a skill you can build? Now, I think it's fair to say this idea has a long and noble lineage, okay? Let go and let God, as we like to say. Trust the process. Have faith. Don't push the river, and it will be done, okay? So it goes by a lot of names, but the definition of trusting something is believing in its reliability. That's just literally a dictionary definition. Trusting something means believing in its reliability. So right off the bat, there's a catch here, all right? Because, the universe is certainly reliable. Sun comes, sun goes down, gravity works, etc. But this is also reliably unpredictable. I'm thinking of chaos theory, or Murphy's Law, or the law of entropy, the famous law of entropy. Or, if you don't mind me saying so on a Sunday morning, the famous shit that happens. So saying that you trust the universe has to include a combination. Trusting that it is a combination of reliable and unreliable. And that the universe is random and chaotic in addition to whatever else it is. And we've certainly seen those forces hard at work in extremis, especially earlier this year, okay? Early January, for instance, all right? But it means trusting the universe really to be itself, therefore, which is a combination of reliable and unreliable, predictable and unpredictable, and that you yourself, we ourselves, are probably going to respond to things in pretty much a similar fashion. Now, that requires a skill that I once heard somebody describe as heroism redefined for the modern age, which is the ability to tolerate paradox. Paradox, okay? To hold two seemingly contrary ideas or impulses or energies or beliefs inside you at the same time and still retain the ability to function. If not, hang on to your cookies and your marbles and your lunch, okay? So faith and fear, that's holding paradox. Thy will and my will, us and them, head and heart, masculine and feminine, reliable and unreliable. Pick your duality, okay? And paradox, my experience tells me paradox requires that we bring these supposed opposites together to talk to one another, to enter into dialogue with one another. Who was it? Tolkien, who wrote Lord of the Rings, once said, it doesn't do you any good to leave a dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. Okay? So trusting the universe and perhaps finding some meaning and purpose in any given manifestation of that universe, including events like the pandemic or the political turmoil, whatnot, may ultimately come down to being in conversation with the universe, all right? In correspondence, okay, with the universe. And I think there's lots of ways of doing that. Dialoguing with the dragons in your life, all right? Asking for dream guidance, listening to your body, honoring intuitions and synchronicities, meditation, prayer, journaling. Journaling is actually a beautiful way of striking up a conversation with the grander scheme of things. I'm thinking of something Ira Progoff once said. Progoff is really one of the grandfathers of personal journaling because he created a system back in the 60s called the intensive journaling process and wrote a book called At a Journal Workshop. And he said that the point of journaling is to go down deeply enough into your own well that you eventually hit the stream that's the source of all the wells, which I find ravishing, and a beautiful argument in favor of the fact that journaling is a perfect tool for being in conversation with the grander scheme of things, the bigger picture, the universe. And of course, also just a good way of feeling your way through the events of your life and the events of the world you live in. All right, really good tool for that. One of my own responses to the pandemic, for instance, and more specifically to the financial anxiety that it's brought about, is to bundle into my morning routine an act of trust. Okay, not just an abstract notion of it. So what I'm doing now is, among my morning routines, I'm now playing 15 or 20 minutes of piano before coming in here into the office to work. And I'm doing that in part to demonstrate to myself that I can afford the time to do that. Okay, so an act of trust, not just a high opinion I have of myself. And really, in fact, one of the diagnostics that I use anymore to know whether I'm trusting the universe is when I make counterintuitive decisions like that. Okay, when I respond to fear, for instance, with, say, surrender rather than striving. Or I choose passion over security sometimes, maybe more than sometimes. Or I make the growth choice over the fear choice, like Maslow said. Or I try to allow things to unfold and happen rather than always trying to make them happen. Make money, make a living, make ends meet, make headway, make a difference. More allowing, all right? So maybe ultimately trusting the universe is less a practical issue or even a psychological issue, as much as I think it's a spiritual enterprise, okay? So it's not necessarily about strategizing, nose to the grindstone, creating new affirmations, doing behavior mod of some kind, all of which are wonderful ideas. But maybe it's about sitting respectfully with things as they are. And I grant you, a high art, especially in hard times like this, but sitting respectfully with things as they are, letting yourself feel what you feel without even needing to understand it. No, let's do something about it. And of course, having a certain forbearance for mystery and uncertainty and ambiguity, okay? And not just out there in the universe, but in here as well. So in closing, I would humbly encourage you to answer Einstein's question. Answer Einstein's question for yourself. Is the universe a friendly place or not? And maybe explore a little bit about why you think it either is or is not. So I just want to say thank you very much for inviting me to share some thoughts with you. Thank you to the staff and the musicians for all your support. And I wish each one of you blessings. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. So much to chew on there. I'm a big-time journaler, so I know that that's one of my favorite practices and incredibly deep for both personal and spiritual work. So thank you for all of that. So you are offering a workshop this Wednesday. So please just tell us a little bit about what that workshop entails and why people might want to come to that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate the question. It's very hands-on. Just so you know, this is not lecture format. It's a very hands-on, participatory, experiential opportunity to really just clarify what this past year has been calling for from you. Again, whether creatively or professionally or spiritually or any other way, it's a chance to just clarify what wants to emerge out of this past year and what you want to take forward with you into your new normal. So I hope you'll join us.
Great. And what, if anything, should people bring with them on Wednesday?
Well, two things. One is writing materials, whatever that looks like for you, pen and paper or a document on your window on your computer, somewhere to write. But mostly bring your curiosity about your own life, about what wants to happen, what wants to move forward and emerge for yourself. So really just bring a deep creativity and openness to what is showing up for you and what you want to take forward with you into time.
Great, thanks so much. So I invite you to please join us and join Greg this Wednesday, 6 p.m. You can sign up for his workshop on our website at seattleunity.org, and we are in for a treat. And so I hope you will join us and go deeper with a lot of this material that Greg has been sharing with us. Thank you.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming, or you'll sink like a stone. Oh, the times, they are a-changing. Come, writers and critics who prophesy with your pen. Oh, and keep your eyes wide, 'cause the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. And there's no telling who that it's naming for the loser now. He will let him win. All the times, they are a-changing. Come, mothers and fathers throughout the land. Oh, and don't criticize what you can't understand, for all those young people are beyond your command. Yes, your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new if you can lend a hand. All the times, they are a-changing. All the times, they are a-changing.
My name is Kathy Edwards. I first attended a Unity church in Spokane, Washington in 1969, and I've been to many Unity churches all over the country since then. But Seattle Unity has been my spiritual home for the last 24 years. We've come to the time in our service to bless our tithes and donations to Seattle Unity. We are grateful for this opportunity to join in the cycle of giving and receiving. You can text to give by using the number on your screen, 206-350-8448, or by donating via the website at seattleunity.org. Thank you to all who give in whatever amount. Every gift matters and goes to support the mission and vision of this ministry. I invite you now to join me in blessing all of the donations received. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you for all that give and support this ministry. And so just a reminder, you are welcome to join us for fellowship following the service, and Greg will be joining us for part of that time, so you get a little bit more time to share with Greg if you join in on the fellowship. And now, before we have our closing prayer, let us first hold all those who have requested prayer through the chat, as well as throughout the week. And so I invite you just to move your attention into your heart. We call forth that activity of spirit which is always present. And we hold in light and love and divine order prayers for Stephen, Shirley, Kiera, Ben and Bob, Mike, Rick, Alan and Bill, Stephan, Gus and Brooke, Leanne and Susan. Just taking a breath and again, intending and praying and sending forth good intentions for prosperity, abundance, health, and divine order. For Dawn and Jean, Faith, Sabrina and Tricia, for Stephanie Ann, and a special prayer for Craig, just holding him in light, affirming wholeness, well-being, renewal, and healing in every part of his body and being. And so now please join me as we affirm our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let's sing a closing song together. I invite everybody in the room to stand up, and I invite you to stand up at home as well. And the people here, oh my God, they're so awesome. There's Pat and Dirk and Kathleen and Faith and Dana. Cindy's back there. David Ray. It's so wonderful. And you're going to be here soon, too. I kind of can't wait for it. But for right now, let's sing a song together. This is by Karen Drucker. And the order of the concepts is let there be peace, and then love, and then joy. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let